Okay,
It's the first exercise, I think, Animalopedia.
okay.
And the variable name was player 2 input includes player 1 input. P2 input includes P1 input.
Yeah, and I guess that was _C that you renamed to
I
that.
think, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, that's a little bit of a long name, but it's already good that you shortened player to P1 and P2. So I would still deem it acceptable for that use case. It's very descriptive, which is good. Yeah, sometimes longer valuable names are needed. But as long as your code stays, you can still, if you read it, you can still understand it. It's fine. And that's also a little bit of personal preference. And again, that comes with experience.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, today we saw two things. We were talking about analyzing programs and trying to understand them, breaking them down into small parts and bringing the small parts back together by making connections. So, and writing comments in code and just making sure you understand everything. And then the second part was about naming your variables so that it aids the analysis and that you can still understand everything. So that's what we have seen today. If you have any more questions, just send us a message. We'll be happy to help you. And I just want to give one thing with you, a resource where you can learn again to write code, because today we've read a lot of code and we've analyzed things. And I know it can be boring. It is boring. It's much more fun to write code, and you also learn a lot more if you write code. So I will give you a link to Codecademy, Introduction to JavaScript. And there they will literally teach you more to write code. And I think you will learn a lot more. But also, again, practice this, what we've done today, analyzing code, trying to understand it, because and wherever you start in a company, and 90% of the time you'll have to work on somebody else's code. So the first thing is to analyze their code and try to understand what they have done. So it is important first that you write good code and that you document it so that other people can understand it, and that you have the skills to analyze other people's codes. So even the exercise of today, practice them during the week, or by next Sunday, you'll have forgotten most of the things we've done today and you'll have to basically start again. So try to take maybe, even if it's like 15 minutes a day that you do one program, that's already good, but just remember to practice. And then if you have some more time, go look at Codecademy, try to write some code yourself. They will again give you some help and they will try to tell you what to write. Okay? That's about it, what I had to say for today. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any more questions, feel free to send us a message.
Okay, thank you, Lorenzo. It was very, very helpful
problem
today.
Thank you.
I think we should read Thibaut's message, Lorenzo.
Okay. About variable names and readable code. Always code as if the guy who ends up maintaining your code will be a violent psychopath who knows where you live. So basically, code as if the next person is Thibaut.
Do you have any other questions before we close up? Is it understandable today? Did you get something, or was it too much information for all of you?
I feel I got more out of today than last Sunday. But it also, for me, I can really say I have worked with Codecademy. Like in the pre-course, I did Codecademy. I'm redoing the course. I'm taking it from the beginning again now, just because I really need this to stick, and I need to really understand it. And I already feel like, okay, just because I'm doing it now again for the second time, these little practices they do, it really gives you a lot. And for me, it's the best way to learn. It's you read a little bit, you learn, you see an example, and then you try yourself to do it. And you will, when the little green ticks comes, you're sitting there like celebrating every time. It's it's such a great way to learn. So I think that's what works well for me. And after that, I feel much more confident in going into looking at some of the different exercises in the study material, because some of it is more advanced for me, I feel like still. So I feel like definitely today more clarity than last Sunday.
That's really
Okay.
good to hear. And
I
remember,
just want to add to that. What you say, that's a small celebration if you see the green tick. For us, that's still the same. Every
Yeah.
time that I do something and it works, it's still a small celebration in my head.
That never goes away.
That stays.
just remember, take your time. Read it step by step. It's not a marathon. I am not going to say marathon.
A sprint.
Fast
It's not a
sprint.
sprint.
Yes, thank you.
And also,
Marathon.
don't be scared to look things up on Google. That's
Yes.
like 90% of our jobs. Just try to look things up if you don't know anything. And also, if you're stuck for longer than 1 hour, ask for help.
Yes,
Don't be
we have
scared
the
to ask for
rules,
help.
so follow the rules how to ask questions. I guess
Yes.
you all know by now.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's all, folks,
Yeah.
for today. If you have
A
any other
small-
questions,
Small
yeah.
thing that I want to add. Next week we will begin with the debugging course. The one thing, I mean, I don't expect you guys to understand everything perfectly from what is in the entire Welcome to JS course, but I would suggest to kind of stick with it, look through it, like even if it's just half an hour every day, like even if it's just like I said to my group, going to YouTube a while loop tutorial, it will be way better than if you don't, because you will be kind of expected to understand some things more or less clearly. We can go over stuff again in the debugging course, but kind of just make sure you stick with it. It will help you a lot more, and you will not be stuck again and again, or less. But even if you're stuck, it's not a problem. I'm just kind of keep with it, and it will be a lot clearer and a lot faster also.
Great.
So if you remember one thing of today, it's practice, practice, practice. Those are
Yes.
3 things, I guess, but still remember it.
Yes. Okay, I will stop recording.